Hi, I'm Marion Scott from the Montreal Newspaper Guild. How important is it to you that Canadian newspapers be Canadian-owned? And if that's how important it is to you, and could you comment on that in the light of Postmedia's ownership?
I feel much more comfortable talking about the principle. I don't want to spend too much time talking about individual companies' circumstances, but you know, as I said earlier, it seems to me that that locally owned newspapers are closer to their communities, as chain newspapers increasingly have gone to try to, you know, scale away costs and move you know, parts of their editorial operations and other operations away from the community. So that's, you know, created a distance and a gap with community that I don't think been good for, you know, the businesses in a long run strategic way. They may have been good short run operational decisions, but they're not good, you know. So in the same principle, I'd say, you know, we have a particular country. It has its own political system. It has its national government, its provincial governments, its municipal governments, its indigenous governments, all sorts of things that exist, particularly in Canada, and ownership needs to care about Canada. It doesn't absolutely have to be necessarily 100% Canadian, in that, you know, I used to think 10 years ago that if the Washington Post owned certain media properties in Canada, would we be, you know, worse off or better off than certain Canadian owners of those properties? And, you know, I kind of thought, well, you know, that's an argument he made that we might be better off, but there's really got to be a huge commitment. And, you know, there's one thing to be said well for Canadian owners, which is, you know, if their futures are dependent on Canada, they are heavily invested in the country, you know, to start with.